Hello, my name is Megan, and today I will be sharing with you some insight into my sunset painting. During the first week of preparing my canvas, I got together a series of different substances that were given to us in class. Chrome yellow, zinc 2+, aluminum 3+, verdigris green, and magnesium 2+. In addition to those elements, I tested charcoal that I brought into lab, as well as borrowing some of my lab neighbors' crushed purple pansies petals. The time when I experimented with mixing paints was during our second painting session and not during our first painting session, and the way I went about mixing my paints was through adding different colors of painting layers. For example, the green landscape is a composition of nickel green carbonate, chrome yellow, and purple from the pansies. Additionally, the sky is a mix of magnesium 2+, chrome yellow, cobalt sulfate, and the purple flower petals. There are also small hints of black charcoal. When I performed my line test, I was able to see which pigments provided me a smooth or rough texture. During this time, I also tested egg tempera and gum arabic binders for my pigments. My binder preference leaned more towards the egg tempera because of its ability to dry quickly and how it did not alter the intensity of my pigments. On the contrary, the gum arabic binders seemed to dilute my pigment and did not provide the intensity I was looking for. During week 2, I used 2 of the new elemental pigments Dr. McFarland brought into class. The following are the pigmentations I used. Chrome yellow, which gave a bright, brilliant yellow color, purple from the petals of purple pansies, and magnesium 2 offered a brown color. Meanwhile, the verdigris green produced a bright blue pigment, cobalt sulfate gave me a red pink-like color, while the nickel carbonate produced a pale green. Lastly, charcoal gave off a dark black pigment. I decided to attempt painting a sunset because I love the beauty of a sunset and its reflection in the water. Although my art did not turn into the image I had in mind, I found a likening to how the colors in the sky gave a darkening ombre effect. The most surprising part of my painting, if you carefully analyze my art, is that you'll see right here is that the sun I painted has a gaping face. Although that was unintentional, I found my perspective that the sun's face expresses its thoughts to the darkening sky. While I was reapplying my chrome yellow to the sun after I painted with magnesium 2+ pigment, not all of the brown washed out from my brush, thus my brush strokes produced the brown swirls that you see in the sun. I included a painted black charcoal frame around my painting in order to direct the focus of my audience to the sun. The idea was having people seem like they were looking out of a window. I would also like to share with you some of my insights on color. While I was painting, I found that the black charcoal paint around the frame complemented the warm earth tones of the sky, the blue-colored water, and the green landscape. Since the colors green, blue, and purple are close to each other on the color wheel, the way we perceive color has us somewhat merge these pigmentations together, which kind of creates the ombre effect that I was talking about earlier. However, the brown color that you see in the sky provides a slight contrast to the purple color. Overall, I would say that the pigmentations of my painting were more fitting of each other than complementary. And now I'd like to talk to you a bit about chemical change. A chemical change that my painting would undergo in the future is oxidation. And this is when the pigments of my paints will be interacting with the air over a long period of time. And thus, my artwork would have lost its intensity and color and have faded away. The egg tempera binder that I used would potentially create 2 problems for me. First, the texture of my painting would be lost since the crystal structures from the cobalt sulfate and the verdigris green would most likely have fallen off, and then my painting would also have some potential cracks on the canvas. These 2 consequences would be most likely due to the egg tempera binder not being really strong, since egg tempera binding is primarily the mixing of egg yolk and water being fused together. Overall, I would like to thank you all for listening to my video, and I hope that y'all have a great spring break.